7 all-kill series. Down to the bottom left side of the map, it is our pink Zerg player from Nuit Blanche. It is Johnny Rico. And to the upper right side from True eSports, let's see it for the Blue Terran. It is Beastie Cutie. So TVC here on Dusk Towers. Again, it could be a long run. Casted this map last week. Beastie Cutie against Guru. It was 45 minutes long. Again, Johnny Rico is one of these players who will play the late game if you let him. As we get started into this, we see the first racks and gas coming down for Beastie. So racks, gas coming down. We see Hatch first going to be coming down for Johnny Rico down on the low ground. So at the third base, going to put down this hatchery, and we'll see if he goes hatch, gas, pool, or if he's just going to go hatch, pool, hatch. It looks as though he's going to go hatch, gas, pool. I was about to say, it looks as though he's about to go hatch, pool, hatch, because he clicked over here. I think he was rallying one of his drones over here, but that's probably still going to line up for after the gas. So it's a good thing I waited a couple of moments before speaking there. Let's see that gas down, the pool down. Of course, circle speed is going to be available to him. And around that 3:30 mark here in game 1 of this best of 7. Oops. Wow, that's weird. How often do you see an SCV just stop mining? That was stop building like that. That was crazy. You must have actually told it to stop building, so no real issue. Turns around and builds it, finishes up in a moment. As we see this first rebuild on the way out, I'm going to start moving across the map here very shortly. This SCV is interesting. Ah, it's just for the depot. I don't know what I'm doing right now, guys. I'm being a little bit silly. As we see this Reaper about to pop out. Going to be a Marine to follow this up, so a factory can come down almost straight away after this. And this is going to start moving across the map here in a few moments' time. So Beastie Cutie looking to see what he can get up to with this first Reaper. Just checking for any kind of Zerglings hiding around in case there's a pool first. Just checking for any lings which are hidden on the map, perhaps a bit to this right hand side, waiting to run in once this Reaper is left, and I don't know, try and run by and do something crazy. I'm not too sure. May have been looking for an Overlord as well, I guess. I suppose that just because checking for lings doesn't really make sense to this map because it's an in-base natural. I guess perhaps looking for the Overlord. And he is going to come over here with this Marine. He is going to find it. So is he going to be able to get that? We'll find out very shortly. Meanwhile, the Reaper is in the main / natural. So I'm doing a little bit of damage here. There's this only one Marine again. It's not the fastest at killing an Overlord, but I think it's going to be able to get it down before it's able to get away, really, as this Reaper doesn't find any kills, does just see the gas. Not really much else to see. And so he just back away as this Marine going to sneak behind the mineral lines. Oh no, he's a bit stuck on the minerals. He's going to get it though, still just going to be enough. Overlord goes down early in the game for Johnny Rico, although not hitting a supply block just yet, so nice pick off initially here by Beastie Cutie. Another Overlord ready to go for Johnny Rico and scout in this main base. This is actually a very early third CC out of Beastie Cutie. This is something a little bit different to what you would usually see in the TVZ matchup. The third command center already now coming down means that as these lings coming in clear off this Reaper as it scouts the third hatch timing, it means that it's kind of been a one gas opening here. He's gone into the second gas after the the third CC. And it's just been a little bit of a greedier build to what we're sort of used to in Legacy of the Void. Go Tess screams Penguin, screams Scream. Go Shadow, says Miss Pico, someone who had a fantastic game against Marine Lord the other day. Was very close to being able to take the victory in that, but just wasn't quite able to close it out. Hoping we'll see some of him today as well, if Johnny Rico is able to, is defeated here by BC or by another player later on. Again, a few Hellions coming out here earlier, and there's continued Hellion production. Liberator now on the way as well for Beastie Cutie. There's third hatch about to finish for Johnny Rico, who drops down a Rotron as well. We're just getting in towards the early stages of this TVZ here on Dusk Towers. Not really a lot of aggression, just some Hellions taking some map control, which is again different. I mean, we haven't really seen the Hellion-based openings for quite a while in Legacy of the Void. They've definitely fallen out of fashion, and when we do see Hellion openings, it's generally just a couple of Hellions to kind of get a bit of map control, have a bit of a look at what's going on, but not too many. Just because Roach openings are so common, the Hellion players kind of really fallen out of style. It doesn't help you a lot against any kind of aggressive Roach Ravager timings. It doesn't help you very much against any sort of, Nidus play and stuff like that. As you're going to see this first Liberator coming in, trying to get a little bit of damage done. Johnny Rico already with his Queen in position to get a bit more damage done. Spore Crawler going to reposition. I don't know if that's actually in range there. One drone goes down. holds position, and well, the Liberators and Siege are moving away anyways. At the same time, these Hellions trying to get in behind this mineral line, get some damage done, but the Lings are able to wrap around on them, and they're able to shut this down immediately. So Johnny Rico picking up a few kills here with these Zerglings. The Hellions shut down pretty much straight away. And a solid start here by Johnny Rico, is just deflecting the damage of his opponent so far, and he is so good at this. It was the same the other day when he played against Daishi. It was like Daishi just threw, he threw some Liberators at him, he threw some Hellions at him, he threw a drop at him, and every single time Johnny Rico just said, "No thanks, I don't want that actually, keep it to yourself," and just didn't let himself take any damage. And Daishi was actually a very different build to what BCQD was doing it, because he was on a kind of a committed kind of 2-base, he was doing one of them builds where you have to do damage on 2 bases, because third's a bit later and you commit into it a little bit more. So a very different build to what BC's doing now. So what happened was in the end that Daishi didn't really have any kind of damage done, and so he just kind of died when Johnny Rico decided to attack. In this game, I mean, denying the Liberators from doing a lot of damage is nice, but it's not going to be kind of, winning you the game. So they're still going to fly around, they're still going to do some damage here and there. We see some Ravagers on the way, and in fact this is some really nice damage. So much lost mining time here for our Zerg player. As we see, Lair on the way up. Evo Chambers are ready to start upgrading, as the Liberators are going to start moving away, just as these Ravagers are pretty much ready to come back in and start killing them. So, you're going to see the Liberators just sat here, basically just waiting, and is very aware of the potential there. And as the corrosive battles get wasted, he's actually going to come back in with these Liberators. He's actually going to pick off another couple of drones before they're forced to move away once again. So that's pretty cute. Just kind of baiting the... I mean, you have to corrosive battle them. Like, they're sat there above you, just start AFK. You have to try and just see if your opponent's AFK or not. Unfortunately, it was a bit of a bait by BC, who just unsieged, moved away, and then immediately re-sieged and got another couple of drones, a lava as well. So as he now begins to drop around the map, this first medevac starting to move across. Look to see what sort of damage this is going to be able to get up to here in a few moments' time. There's a nice little space here for him to unload, and Johnny Rico does have vision of it, but it's kind of off-creep away from any spines or spores, so we're going to be able to get something done for this as Johnny Rico takes his 4th hatchery over to the left-hand side. Obviously not wanting to really take this hatchery here. If the tank's able to drop onto this high ground, then it's just going to shut down this 4th base almost immediately, as these Lings, the Roaches, going to start coming in, and this first drop going to be denied. And again, Johnny Rico just apparently so good at just continuously denying this aggression here, there, and everywhere. The Liberators are the thing he's had the most trouble with so far this game. It cleans them up now as well, as we see a couple of tanks lifting into medevacs, and BCQD might be about to start moving across the map a little bit aggressively here, although he doesn't have that many Marines. He's still got these ones in the medevac from earlier. I guess they'll join up, but it's mostly just the siege tanks right now. He's actually only bringing the siege tanks across the map to try and harass with, so there's going to be interesting. +2 weapons to start for BCQD as well. While Berserk player has only just now, well, it's still going into just +1/+1, so that's still on the way. So an upgrade lead to BC, not by much though, and not something which BC is going to take advantage of just yet. So maybe next time around when he has 2-2 against 1-1. But now just backs away with these tanks. Johnny Rico already in towards this hive, about a third of the way done. Pathogen glands on the way in an infestation pit, and just again deflecting all of this pressure while he continues to just, tech up, head towards his late game. And again, we could see a long one between these two guys, because BC's late game is very defensive. It's very sort of, I'm really going to wait until it is time to fight. I'm not afraid to wait. I'm not afraid to let it go long. I'm going to nuke you around the map. And Johnny Rico obviously happy to play that late game too, already going up to hive. Now +2/+2 now starting for him as well. First Infestors on the way. Big triple drop to BCG from BCQD towards the main right now, and this is something which Johnny Rico has not really got an answer for in position just yet. You will see it now though, and immediately starts clicking over here and sends some Lings, Roaches, and a couple of Ravagers to get ready to deal with this. Still, it's only really kind of 4 tanks and medevacs over here that are being annoying, and they'll pick off a little bit here or there, but as soon as these units start to come forwards, they're just going to kind of get cleaned out, no real problem at all. As corrosive battles with the fungal growths do clean out a little bit of this army over here. And these tanks are going to get pushed away once again, so Johnny Rico continues to just bat away anything that kind of comes towards him and tries to kill him, basically. Johnny Rico just continues to deflect this without any real issue. A couple of medevacs will load up with Marines, and we'll just back away now completely. So these couple of medevacs just going to be backing away. 4th base going to land for BCQD. And we see some more Marines, tanks, and medevacs just slowly coming out of the main base here. A couple of Ghost Academies being dropped down, and that's what we're expecting. Again, this is what I was telling you guys about. Late game, nuke around the map, see what you can get up to. This is how BCQD plays his TVZs right now. Just accepts it's going to go late game and immediately starts building ghosts. You know, doesn't he? You know, he can try to kind of attack with 2-2 now and maybe try and push just before ultras or so, or just just after ultras when they first only have when they don't have Titans playing yet. But why would you do that when you could just kind of sit defensively and prepare for this late game anyway? And that's what basically what BCQD says. Goes close to start. We're going to see probably a nuke starting here soon as well. As we see a few tanks on this high ground. Just hold in position, and Johnny Rico continue to expand to the upper left. Creep Tunes continue pushed out on the map. This is generally a good map to go split map on for the Terran, because the Zerg should never really be able to mine from this base. So if you trade effectively and efficiently, then more or less you should actually be sort of able to deal with. You should kind of outmine the Zerg if you trade efficiently, because they shouldn't again ever really mine from this base because of tanks on this high ground. So keep that in mind as we're going to see actually pulling back here. These Marines, a lot of them, and the Infestor's not here just yet. This Infestor's what we really need to see. Fungal Growth does land from the left hand side, but well, just lands, doesn't really do too much else. Drop loader from BCQD just clears a bit of creep spread. I mean, the ultras are on the way. Kindness Plating will be here very shortly as well. Upgrades are now even. In fact, the Zerg even starting to take a lead in upgrades, as we get to see BCQD continue into the next tier of those. And we see just a little bit more creep spread being reestablished by a couple of queens here and there. Scans coming down though, seeing the lack of army sort of. And his tank's going to start running down. Ultras though do have Kindness Plating. There's only really tanks and Marines here. As Johnny Rico splits up, tries to land a Fungal Growth, but doesn't find any Marines. Dropping the main base at the same time. As we have an overseer just checking around over here. And we actually have a Nidus from Johnny Rico up in the main base all of a sudden. Nidus coming in, and we see this Slings and Roaches streaming into the main base. This is going to pull BCQD all the way back. This drop gets cleaned up as well. And well, this Nidus play is actually, I think, one of the toughest things to deal with in late game ZVT, because once you start Nidusing all over the map and putting ultras in your Nidus networks and just transporting them all over the map, you see a couple of ultras popping up in a mineral line. I mean, it's so difficult to deal with this. Overseer is still alive for now, just getting away over here, and that might be something we see Johnny Rico utilize here in a few moments time. Once again, Johnny Rico with a big bank, 2.5k, 1.2k against BCQD's bank, which is not looking super pretty. 1k, 1.5k. I mean, it's nice, but it's not as large as Johnny Rico's. And Johnny Rico just knows he wants to deny this base a little while. Doesn't really want to commit into a defensive Terran player like this, though. Ghosts are out, and so, you know, he doesn't know exactly how many ghosts there are going to be, but if ghosts are out, it's always going to be a risk running your ultras into this. And, you know, why risk that when you've got a greater spy on the way, and you're continuing into a great position in terms of the late game. Nice, going to come up here, nice. Quickly once again, but not going to do too much. Units already in position. Again, I think once you get a couple of like ultras out of that Nidus though, if you start like Nidusing ultras around the map, it's so powerful. It's like crazy. As you see a scan coming in, and we're going to see Johnny Rico now. Going to have to be the defender, as we see a couple of spines over here getting worked away by these dropships, medevacs, by these dropships and Marines. They will just have to drop and back away as we see another drop in towards the main base. So action all over the map right now. As BCQD and Johnny Rico go well toe-to-toe with each other in terms of multitasking. Upgrades a slight lead right now for our Zerg, but our Terran is not too far behind, as there we see them nukes starting to come up over here. So the nukes going to be interesting to see how they play out, as we see these Marines dropping off over here once again. Nukes are so stressful to deal with. Obviously, you've got to always keep an eye on, you know, all your bases, see where they're going to be landing, that sort of thing. As you see this Nidus network on the way up, going to pop here in the natural, and Mr. Cutie must have seen this. He pulled some SCVs away from this a few moments ago. Lings just once again, just the Lings and a few Roaches start doing some damage over here. As you see, Marines, the Marauders coming in to try and deflect this once more. So again, just Johnny Rico, just small counterattacks around the map thanks to the Nidus networks. 7 workers killed. But again, I mean, Mr. Cutie moving into a 5th base now. Extra command center is still coming up here. Ghosts continuing to come up. And then nukes will begin here very, very shortly. A couple of medevacs still positioned to the south side, ready to come back in towards the main perhaps. However, corruptors are there waiting for them. As Johnny Rico still builds up this bank. 5.5k, 2.7k right now. These medevacs will load. Looks like they're just going to pull back up. One of these command centers has to be cancelled. So one of these command centers cancels here right now. Ultras, Ravagers, Lings. Not sure where they'd want to go just yet. Mjolky, thank you very much for the 8-month resub. How are you doing today? As we are well and truly into the late game now between these two players. This Overseer is going to try and get away from this Viking. Scan over here to clean out a Zergling Barud or so. Another Knight is coming up in the main base. And again, how many times is BCQD going to be able to deflect this? As we see, once again, just Roaches streaming out. A little bit more damage to be done. Drops of units going to come in to defend. As drops also go aggressively across the map here. Corruptors are going to target the Roar. Oh, well, it wasn't so bad in the end. In the end, it doesn't really matter, but probably could have stopped a few more of those Marines from ever getting out. As these Roaches are going to keep on fighting over here. Not going to be too successful. They don't have very much damage without any, without the missile upgrades being upgraded at all during the game. +1 fly carapace starts as well. Second spiders are going to put, go into double flying upgrades. As you see, Lings. They're going to start working their way through these rocks, and I mean, Johnny Rico starting to knight us over here now as well, so giving himself a position to kind of, a way to kind of reinforce this army to this right hand side. Broodlords now on the way up as well. They're kind of coming in all the way back over here. Of course, if Broodlords can't jump into knights, that'd be pretty broken. And you see some corrosive vials coming down, and this command center just taking a little bit of damage. And a Zergling, single Zergling over here. Just gonna burrow. Another scan from our Terran player. Sees these Ravagers, Infestors, and the Ultras just backing away for now. We're still yet to see a nuke come down in this game, despite the first 2 nukes being built some time ago. But talking of them nukes, well, here we go. We see a couple of ghosts moving over in this direction right now. This nice network. We'll start unloading Lings to send over in this direction. I think John Rico sort of realized that this is the sort of place which might be attacked. He's actually just moving over there to right now as these ghosts have gotten by this army. Oh, that's nice. I mean, they could have maybe sniped all of these Infestors as we see nukes start to come down over to these 2 bases. And Johnny Rico has to find a way to deal with this. Overseers are going to come in. Is he going to be able to clean out the ghosts in time? The Overseers are just a little bit behind. The nuke is falling. It is going to go down. It is going to land. This nuke as well. But no real damage done. Just this hatchery taking a lot of damage. No workers killed from the first 2 nukes of the game. 2 more being built right now as we see BCQD starting to move in towards this gold base to the top side. He's had to kind of evacuate his natural, which, well, has still a few minerals in it, so we might see that if this really does go late game, we might see that come back in to play a little bit later on. As these Ultras going to come over in this sort of direction. We see these Marines and Marauders. I'm just going to find this army. Don't really want to commit to a fight with that, so they're going to back away right away. We see a few Vipers on the way. There's a nice network being rebuilt over here. So let's see Johnny Rico actually focus his attention towards this base down to the bottom right side. A couple of tanks will unload on the high ground. I think this planetary force is going to go down. Not really much you can do to save this. He'll repair for a little while. We'll just back away from this. Keeps his Infestors alive as well, as he has to be careful. So many ghosts, and actually is he a little bit in trouble here? We see some snipes coming down. 1, 2 Infestors sniped down. And just a couple of Infestors. I mean, not the biggest of deals right now when you've got a 8k, 3k bank. Not the biggest of issues at all. As we see Lings streaming up to the upper left side. Ultras as well, a few Ravagers and Infestors. This Nidus network going to start coming up here in this main base. As you see, just another Overlord or Overseer being picked away at. And quadruple Liberator on top of this. And I mean, he's going to take down so many of these Lings as they just come out. The Vikings will eventually kill off the Nidus too. Beastie has to lift his gold base right now as Johnny Rico finds it and gets rid of it. So forces him to lift it. So we're going to deny the mining over there. There's another couple of siege tanks. Going to siege, and looks as though BCQD is going to start really kind of taking control of the center of this map here. With these planetary fortresses about to start morphing in. And so on and so on. Just waiting for a bit more of this creep spread to fade. We'll see if Johnny Rico is going to take a fight. I mean, he does have some Broodlords. He's going to start dropping, using these right now to start pushing this army back. We've got a few Vipers here. A few Corruptors as well. Nuke will come down, and that's obviously... Well, actually, he gets killed straight away. The ghost using the nuke. Another ghost starts to nuke from the back. These Broodlords will be pushed back for now. This nuke going to land. We're not going to really kill anything here unless Johnny Rico... Oh, we got cancelled. Oh, there's some snipes start to come down here. A couple of Broodlords do go down. Woohoo! A lot of Broods taking damage there. And as we see, this duel in the center of the map will begin. 2 more nukes being built right here. A few workers going down. You can see the main base move over towards the natural. Oh no, actually just maybe it was the natural base. That's just coming up once again. So an ultra comes down here, tries to check if there's any mining going on, and we'll see that being used to set up another Nidus network. As we really are well and truly into the late game right now. Approaching, or just past the 20-minute mark actually. A couple of ghosts going to come over and look to see what they can find, and a few snipes on this Ultralisk will kill it off, but it sneaks into the Nidus worm and does get away, as these ghosts will clean up this Nidus over here, unless we see some Ling streaming out of it momentarily. But he's actually streaming out back at home, I think. I don't even know where he's streaming out. Oh no, he's streaming out back over here. I mean, that works as well, as these ghosts not being paid attention to. Why would he? He's also got a bunch of Broodlords currently attacking his front doors. Liberator's going to get Parasitic Bomb. Nice control pulling that away there. Some snipes going to come down, get rid of a few of these Corruptors. Very hard to micro both of these armies at this point in time. Very, very difficult. Going to be very back and forth. And a lot of kind of moving forwards, moving backwards as a nuke starts to come down on top of these Broodlords once again. That Ghost goes down, though. Johnny Rico confident he was going to be able to kill the Ghost, as he still has a 10k, 2k bang, but 2k gas isn't that much. So while he has 10k minerals, there's not that much gas. 13 workers died for Beast Acuity, however, over to this side. He just needs to get a base up, and if he lands this base and mules it for a while, his bank's going to be looking really, really nice, as Johnny Rico taking these extra gases, continuing to control the left side of the map. His nice network cleaned up as well, just denying more mobility from the Zerg player than he deserves at this point. As, I mean, if this isn't called splitting the map, I don't know what is. 2 planetary fortresses and turrets in the middle, siege tanks up towards the back, plenty of ghosts, and a lot of Marine Marauder. I really think it's very hard for the Zerg to win from this point in time. It's very hard for the town to execute this sort of thing, but I think it's very hard for the Zerg to make this work as well. As you see, another Nidus coming in, just Overlord after Overlord coming out and just trying to get something done. Love the Sensor Tower though. The Sensor Tower over here is going to be really, really cool to try and keep a track on anything that's coming out in this sort of position. As Johnny Rico, his Nidus over here is going to get shut down immediately. As basically he finds that. See some Broods starting to move into position over on this side. As Broodlings. I mean, there's so many Corruptors and Overseers in the sky that these Ghosts just can't seem to get close enough to realistically do very much. We're going to see them now. The Marines coming into tank while maybe we'll see the Ghosts getting a bit more damage and maybe finally getting them snipes going for themselves. There's a few from the Ghosts coming down. Some trades of workers on either side of the map. Still these Broodlords standing though, as we see a nuke up onto the high ground. Out of Beast Acuity flies off into the sky from over here. We're not being very good with the nuke observing today, I apologise. But the army moves back from Johnny Rico. Again, it's not going to land, but not really achieve all too much. As you see, some Corruptors and Broods and Infestors and Vipers just backing off here. We're going to see the Nidus network being built over here as well, and then Viking actually catching. I love these sensor towers. These sensor towers are so cool because there's no way, unless a Nidus goes up, there's literally no way that Johnny Rico can kill this sensor tower. But the thing is, with these sensor towers, there's no way there should be ever a Nidus getting up on this side of the map. So this is really, really crazy. As you see the Overlord getting picked off. And we see, I mean, Johnny Rico committing a lot of his army up to this sort of side of the map now. I guess maybe he wants to work away a bit at the main base of his opponent. As you see these Brutes coming forwards and just going to drop down here in the main. Start picking off some supply depots, just start being a little bit of a pain. A little bit of a nuisance here. With whatever he can. We see a drop going to load up and basically he's like, well, okay, you want to damage my main base? I'll damage your main base. Johnny Rico is mining off this base, which I said you're never really meant to mine from. As both players still going sort of toe-to-toe. There is a Nidus network that comes into play from the main. And as we see, lots of Lings and Roaches and Ultras starting to stream out here. This is going to force everything to come back and really kind of defend against this. Ghosts can use the Sim City, however, to their advantage to snipe down these Ultras. Johnny Rico, and then again, I'm not sure how happy you really should be to trade in this sort of position, because as these Ultras and Ravagers go down, I mean, his gas bank isn't huge. And as you see, a few workers going down over here. A few workers on either side of the map, and Orbital over here looks as though it might be about to go down as well, and it does. And Johnny Rico just slowly picking away. Both players suddenly dropping down 140 supply against 160, rather than being in this sort of maxed out state which we've seen for so long prior to this, prior to the last minute or two. This CC flying away might be able to get repaired in time. Ghosts going back into play from the main. And there's a couple of snipes coming down. In fact, finding a lot of snipes onto these Broodlords. You see just one of them goes getting caught in the fungal growth. As Vikings coming in as well. Corruptors, time to shine, time to turn around and go protect them Broodlords. All but 4 Broods going down. Vikings can of course kite, but Infestors are here, going to look to try and bait a fungal growth. 3 Broodlords left after that. A little exchange. As again, Johnny Rico just cannot get enough gas. Resources lost, slightly favouring Beastie Cutie right now. As this base to the top side is set up, and also set up for the Terran to the bottom side. So every base on this map is currently being mined from. It's still got, I mean, Johnny Rico seems to have been mining out these bases very quickly. He's still got this base which will mine out slow because he's not mule in it. He's actually going to come in here with these ultras, and this is really nice. Denying the mules over here is going to be just really slowing down how quickly Beastie Cutie is able to build up his economy, and he's just finally getting over here. I don't actually know how they even got over here. Did they just run through this position? I guess they might have just done. I mean, why not? There's no reason they couldn't have, as we see some snipes going to start going down. And there's more than enough units here to clean this up. Bailey's actually getting a couple of good connections at the front, cleaning up quite a lot. As the last few snipes come in, and an ultra goes down as well. Still Viking just looking around, seeing what he can find. As this base will land once again, another wave of mules will land on top of it. Johnny Rico sees this with his changelings, but again, what can he really do about it at this point in time? Beastie Cutie, 6 Broodlords, a couple more ultras on the way out, some more Zerglings as well. Has to utilize these Zerglings because, I mean, over time he's just going to have so many minerals that he can't spend if he doesn't make mineral only units. So has to sort of work away at that as again time goes by. Basically his Broodlords just kind of moving forwards, dropping some Zerglings, moving back. But how do you just keep on using these just keep on using these kind of Zerglings to super great effect? Again, he's mining pretty much all the gas he could be mining apart from this gas here. The extract is going to be important again because it's one that's easily denied by the Terran player. See a lot of lings coming up to this side. I wonder if he Overlord drops. Could Overlord drop into the main base perhaps with a bunch of these Zerglings and be able to kill this off no problem, and then maybe a couple of tech structures before anything else really happens. More nukes in the production tab as well, as we really are just going the distance right now in game number 1 of this best of 7. Let's see a scan coming in. Guy loving this. The cloak ghosts. Seeing an opportunity where there isn't overseers nearby, and that's just another couple of, I mean, all but 2 Broodlords go down. That's huge. Some 4s over here, and obviously now not enough Broodlords to really kind of be worthwhile kind of continue to committing forwards. 4 more Broods have to be brought in again. Little trades like that are always going to be worth it for Beastie Cutie. You know, basically free trades. It doesn't cost him anything but energy. And you can see it really does increase that difference in the resources lost tab right now. More snipes coming down. There's a nuke's going to come in over here as well. I'm so slow. Every time a nuke comes down, I just seem to be so slow to respond to it. As we should see Beastie Cutie not really doing anything. Maybe captures the edge of these Broodlords. Yeah, Johnny Rico not responding to that as well as he maybe could have. As he has his base set up over here. One of these planetary fortresses did end up going down. And everyone's still standing strong. And both, I mean, Beastie Cutie again, because he's split the map in half, has all of his bases just mining away now. This base over here isn't mining, but I'm sure he will mine it when he needs to. More lings coming out. Again, old Johnny Rico in the long, all he can really make for the most part with 8,000 minerals is going to be Zerglings. And static defense, I suppose. And Overlord does sneak its way up to the top side of the map. And it looks as though we will have a another Nidus network coming down here in a few moments' time. Liberator over towards this gold base is going to start picking up some workers as well. There's this Nidus worm. Nothing inside just yet, but that's where them lings are headed. And they're going to not get out in time though. Ah, such a shame. If the lings were already in the Nidus network, he probably would have been doing a lot of damage over here now, especially because the rest of Beastie Cutie's army is so far out of position at this point. Queens could be good. Yeah, actually, maybe that's what Johnny Rico's missing in terms of spending his minerals. Because I remember when I was casting Guru playing against this, it was like Guru didn't have the same issue. He didn't have this many more minerals than gas. So I imagine it might just be queens. That's a really good call, guys. It's kind of one of them things which, when you see it already happening, you're just like, oh yeah, naturally he has 20 queens with this, but just don't think about it ahead of time. Well, I have to thought about it ahead of time this time, as you see. Rude's just pushing into this position once again, trying to break down this gold base, but yeah, not a lot of mining really going on down here for basically for much longer. He's already muled this to, well, hell and back, as we see this 4 will go down as well. So Medivacs flying randomly forwards here. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how much these ghosts can do. So I'm going to snipe down these overseers. If he snipes all the overseers, then these broodlords, oh my god, are in so much trouble. Broods, there's nothing to protect them at all. I'm just going to move forward, just need to snipe them down. Just no overseers, and that is game changing. A whole chunk of broodlords getting killed off here. The overseer gets here just in time to see the last broodlord die, and to realize this was all his fault. BCQD, is he paying attention? Does he see this Nidus in his main? Doesn't look as though he's responding to it just yet. Morphs this overlord into an overseer as well for a bit of extra speed. Now he has a lot of lings in here this time around. They're going to start streaming out, and again, I feel if they can fight against these marines all together, maybe he can then kind of continue on. He's kind of making a bit of a mistake here and there, just rallying and actually attacking this tech lab instead of these units, but he will kill him out, and it is going to force the ghost to come back home for a little while here, as we will see some of the production being picked away at by Johnny Rico. But again, running out of gas, running into a real problem with gas. There's only 250 gas left in the bank for him and BCQD. Well, he has 4k, 5k at this point in time, so he's not all too worried, he's not all too concerned. 42 more lings coming up for Johnny Rico as a single marauder finds the spore hole over here. Some more lings going to clean this out. And Nidus now down to the bottom right side of the map. Let's see what it can get up to. Looks though BCQD aware of this and plenty of time though, and this isn't going to stand any chance at all. Just going to kill this off immediately. So again, Johnny Rico just not getting a lot done here. Once again, resources lost now 47k to 34k. He just doesn't have a way to trade against this any more efficiently. We've seen 136 Marines die this game, 410 Zerglings, 20 Broods, 10 Ultras. It's not really that crazy in certain numbers, you know, like it's kind of what we've just seen die, and I haven't noticed as many Vipers as this going down. But I guess 410 Lings is kind of, you know, expected anyways, so I guess that's not too much of a surprise. We've seen lots of Broods dying, so that's pretty standard and really not really surprising. And again, he pulled out of Marine production some time ago, really, so a low number of Marines being dead isn't much of a surprise either. Mules now actually being used here to BM mine, just take away as many minerals as he can from Johnny Rico. Because again, in the long run, Johnny Rico is gonna be outmined, and so it's very important for him to find a way to make this work out. And obviously, having less and less minerals to work with is not going to be the answer. His plan before this, he's going to be killed off here without too much issue. This Yudi going to have to try and retake this position on the map. Whereas again, too late on the nukes. We saw the smoke this time at least, though. My reaction times are slow, guys. I'm a bit tired, I guess. As we see these units pulling back, and BC just cancels that nuke. Doesn't feel the need to commit to it right now. Gold base going to be mined out for Johnny Rico shortly. 1.2k, 700 income against 1.2k. So it's very even on the income tabs actually. It's just basically because he's traded so much better, has not really had to do very much of rebuilding or anything. So he's got a much bigger bank. And that is the sort of problem that Johnny Rico faces right now. He's got a lot of lingers, he's got Bane. I mean, Banes actually work quite well against Ghost, right? I mean, I think they did quite okay against them. Like Massling Bane, it depends on the fungal growths, I suppose. As we see scans coming down, watching this army. He has to find a way to trade with the Ghost, though. The Ghost right now is just way too efficient. A couple of tanks. 4 tanks coming in from a couple of medevacs. And we drop to this top side, as we see Ling's going to come in. They've got overseers nearby. The Ghost will try to stop the sniper. Look at this. So many Ghosts just surrounded here. They will lift up into the medevac. And again, Ling's very good answer to the Ghost. And that was a big win there for Johnny Rico, who loses his mind to his top side gold base. The Siege Tank in a little bit of trouble. The Lings will come in and clean up the rest of these. I mean, basically may as well save them, but it's not that important if you lose them, because at this point I don't think he's looking to go back into tank production at any time soon. As you see, just a single couple of mineral patches, literally 280 minerals or something. Well, it's actually 295 minerals left on these two bases. On this base down here, so not much left. Lots of gas, but that's not something BCQ is too worried about right now. Nice little growth, grabs a few of these ghosts. And again, just mass circling right now is something which BCQD isn't seeming to find an answer for. Is his production looking good still? He's only on 6 barracks, so he can't actually reproduce very quickly either. So even though he's got a big bank, he might just lose this because he can't spend his bank soon enough. Wow. But again, I mean, this is why he started adding Marines back into this, I think, as a big scan, big BM scan up here. To start dropping the, not really BM scan, but it's obviously a tactic to just get rid of as much mineral money for Johnny Rico as possible. Johnny Rico just got a little bit more gas now, and again, these Zerglings have just been so effective, and you can see that's, you know, this is why we've seen some Marines being rebuilt, but free adrenal gland lings, I wonder if there's just so many of them. I mean, there's not loads right now. But I wonder if you just get so many that you can't really fight against them as a Terran player unless you just go back into kind of Marine Marauder. It sounds crazy, but it's definitely a possibility as we see these lings streaming in. A couple of Marines in a little bit of trouble, loving this Baneling landmine. Something which, you know, BCQD isn't necessarily going to see. He's going to realize he just can't know, so he does know it's there. At the same time, Johnny Rico moving down south with the main portion of his army as he streams into the main base now, and even if he can just kill another couple of barracks or something, he actually catches a 4 here, which is going to be really great if he can kill that off. The Marines coming up to try and save it, though it's going to get very low. It does just go down. A lot of these lings sacrifice, but again, lings aren't really the issue right now, I don't feel. As I don't understand, Johnny Rico should probably try moving towards this base. He's got nothing to really lose, especially when he's seen such a commitment to the north side. Then again, let's be very careful. These ghosts coming down now. Lings aren't on the map just yet. Without Lings on the map, oh no, these ghosts keep moving forwards. Big move command. Oh my god, that's absolutely huge. These medevacs get caught as well, and that's a huge number of ghosts going down for BCQD. Wow, that is absolutely huge. So much being lost. And Johnny Rico, you saw how much of a disadvantage he was in resources lost earlier. He's tied it up almost. He's only 1.6k away from his opponent now. And BCQD, again, he doesn't have the production to reproduce. He doesn't have the money to rebuild all of his units, which he needs to rebuild here. He's only got 6 barracks. And this lack of production is what's really going to maybe just lose this game for BCQD. That and a couple of misplays with the ghosts here and there. Loses a few too many of them in the last few minutes to Zerglings, to just the Broodlords as he wanders into the middle of the map. BCQD is suddenly, I mean, again, I really thought it was like looking great for a Terran player, but Johnny Rico has really just sort of found the kind of mistakes from BCQD. He just found the way to kill these ghosts and things like this. You're going to see a stim in. BCQD going to try and take down this hatchery to the top side, and it looks as though this will go down. I mean, not much of an issue. Johnny Rico is mined out. I mean, the whole map is basically almost mined out. We've got some gas left here. That's obviously very important. This is mined out. This is on its way to being mined out. Mined out. Gas left down here. Gas left up there, which is why Johnny Rico will continue to try and retake this base. As again, I mean, basically he doesn't have anything right now. 5 ghosts. He's got 4 liberators and 9 Vikings. Like, what are they going to help out with at this point? I mean, obviously they're there to kind of help deal with the Broodlords and Corruptors, but I don't know if it's going to be enough against Vipers and the number of Corruptors there is. I don't know, man. Ling's going to keep on streaming across the map and just doing damage here, there, and every a few 4s come in, but again, I think in the long run, 4s aren't really going to be the answer you need to this, as we see the long distance mining of that gold base, the line of drones as they come and return minerals. See another couple of scans, and we see Johnny Rico just continuing to edge forwards here, a little bit at a time. A couple of snipes coming in and picking off a Corruptor to begin with. Again, there is Ghost here, which makes this scary. But Johnny Rico is in a good, kind of aggressive position on this low ground. Going to just hold his opponent back until he really wants to fight. Vikings and the Liberators will start to come in here. Corruptors, Vipers, and everything will start coming in as well, as Lings will start streaming through. They want to try and get a wraparound on them Ghosts. Obviously, if he gets a wraparound on the Ghosts, he's going to be able to just deny this, as we see. Oh my god, Pirate City Bombs doing so much damage. BCQD is just going to GG out Johnny Rico. After 40 minutes, is going to take game number 1 of this best of 7 series in the Dusk Tower. The load screen together. Look how amazing the load screen is. Look at all these beautiful Hydralisks facing off looking at each other like, you're the uglier one, and he's like, no, you're ugly. And then in the end they realise it doesn't matter, because no one's going to use Hydralisk and ZVZ anyways. Actually, that's a bit of a lie. It's a complete lie. As we get into Game 2 of this best of 7 all-kill clan war between Nuit Blanche and True eSports. Let's see what's going to happen. As to the bottom left side, taking his team 1-0 up so far this series, is going to be our pink Zerg player. It's Johnny Rico. And to the top left from True eSports is going to be our green Zerg player. Let's hear it for Guru. Again, this is one of these series which could be quite interesting overall, because True eSports, I've been saying this for a while, they are the team who have become better and better as every season, as every season of the SC2ITL goes by. True eSports just get better and better and better. But there's still this sort of thing where they just, they have a great lineup, but it's still sometimes just a little bit, flimsy and a little bit kind of, there's always kind of holes to punch through it that teams seem to find. And right now, Johnny Rico has punched through one of those holes, gotten through Beastie Cutie, and now, the other great players on True eSports, that come to mind straight away are eLaser, Guru, and you think about those two guys, both Zergs. ZVZ, anything could really happen if Johnny Rico goes on a bit of a winning streak here. So this is going to be a huge series for Nuit Blanche. Obviously, Nuit Blanche last-minute replacements for Apocalypse eSports came in last week and showed us that, well, they deserved their spot in the league because they went for the because they took 2 maps off of Millennium, which are obviously one of the better teams in the league. So again, this is a team which True eSports have to be careful of, and if they're not careful, they could find themselves with the first loss this season. They've already lost their first map this season to them. Again, this is why I love Team League. Like, a lot of these teams are so evenly matched, anything can happen. It's really fun to follow the stories, and again, that's one of the main things we want to try and achieve this season of the SC2ITL, because we really, really, really do want to just kind of show you guys the story of these teams, show you guys who's, enjoying the, who's having good series, who's losing to people they shouldn't be, who's having, who's got the momentum on their side and stuff like that. We're actually already on the website now, sc2improve.net/sc2itl. Then, if you go over there, sc2improve.net/sc2itl, then you'll find our Week 1 recap, which kind of talks about the main story points through the league during Week 1. A couple of things such as, like, On Fire joining the league, obviously Vortex making his return to StarCraft, and all the all-kills we saw in Week 1 of the competition as well. I don't think there was any major upsets during the first week. I think a lot of the matches which maybe weren't, I think a lot of the matches went either the way they were expected to, or they were kind of 50-50 anyways. Maybe a couple of surprises in the scorelines, again, Nuit Blanche taking a couple of maps of Millennium, a couple of teams winning a lot more easily than they were expected to, and some things like that as we see these lings. Just pulling back here. Early on, we see both players actually going to decide to go into very fast roaches. Guru decided to bypass his early Zergling speed, whereas that's something Johnny Rico does have. And both players going into roach runs. Let's see what Rico wants to do, because he doesn't actually have an Evo chamber just yet. He's got lots of gas build up, and I wonder if he just goes for some kind of roach timing. Now he comes and he sees the roach run of his opponent, so it's not very likely. He also sees the Evo chamber, so he knows what's going on for his opponent here. And he's just going to keep on droning a little bit. 6 more drones come up for him. And he sees the Evo chamber, so he must know that if he wants to kind of keep up in this game, he needs one of his own very, very shortly. And there it is, starting to come down. Evo chamber for Johnny Rico. CBZ is one of these matchups which has become, which at the start of Heartless Swarm, it was every single game was like 13-12, and it was like, well, this is actually really crap. And then slowly but surely it's evolving, and we're getting past the stage where 13-12 is used every game. In fact, I don't think I've casted 13-12 for quite some time now. It's still popular, but not anywhere near as popular as it was. But we're seeing a lot more macro games. We're seeing a lot more kind of differences in macro games as well. Originally it was kind of just Roach Ravager. Now we're sort of seeing Mutalisks coming into play as well. And people are starting to figure out that Mutalisks are pretty darn good, as they always have been in ZVZ. As Guru loads up a couple of overlords and will start to go across the map and drop. This is a very standard thing that Guru does actually a lot of the time. He always comes across the map and well, not always, not all the time, but when he does this build, so I should have mentioned this earlier, this is kind of Guru's special build where he goes straight at roaches and then does some drop play with these roaches in towards the main base. But Johnny Rico is apparently on top of this, maybe played against him on the ladder or something like that, and it looks as though he's already sort of figured this out. As he's got roaches in position, Guru just going to have to back away for now. Not really a lot he can do about that. There's a couple more overlords coming into play, just moving around, getting some map control here for our Zerg. Guru did, of course, invest in the pneumatized carapace, so these overlords are able to move nice and quickly. Can't remember what game it was yesterday. It wasn't yesterday. It was maybe on Sunday. We saw some overlords trying to drop before the overlord speed finished, and it was I can't say the word. Agonizingly slow. Okay, I just can't English. Let's just stop talking. It's a bit awkward. Agonizingly slow. It doesn't have a T in it. Agonize. I got there in there. Why was I trying to put a T in agonizing? They were agonizingly slow when trying to drop. Wow, just random T coming up into agonizing apparently. Why not, I suppose, as we see some roaches, a queen, a spine crawler over here. Both players just continuing on here, pretty much standard. +2 on the way for Guru, Johnny Rico with roach speed. No +2 just yet, but startups now, so no real upgrade advantage as both players are into third bases. Guru has a few more workers than his opponent. These overlords have continued to move around, but they haven't really been able to do too much as he snipes down that queen and picks back up once again. And again, just kind of doing a little bit of damage here or there when possible. He's going to see these roaches, just looking to see if they can drop in. One of those overlords getting very low though. In fact, it might just go down. Going to be chased. It's on creep. Ah! Queen's trying to cut the corner and that doesn't help it. Does snipe it down there in the end. And you will be able to push these roach drops back for now. Guru with a big chunk of cash in the bank right here. Lots of minerals. A little bit of gas. No Ravagers for either player just yet, just pure roach production. Johnny Rico taking a bit of a supply lead as he moves into a army lead and a drone lead as well at the same time here, so pretty similar stuff right now as Johnny Rico just going to be continuing to look around, look to see what's going on, look to see what is happening. See a few roaches. Again, just moving around thinking about what they want to get up to here in the next few moments. That overlord loading up once again. So we'll see it here for Johnny Rico, just patrolling backwards and forwards, keeping an eye on when his opponent is moving out towards him as he drops a Hydra's Den. And we'll see what he wants to do with this, if he goes straight into a Lurker Den or if he's going to drop the muscular augments and just sort of go from there. Overlord's coming across the map. Good, just following these overlords across the map as well apparently for a little while as this overseer does pull back for Johnny Rico. He does go into muscular augment, so he's going to commit to kind of Roach Hydra here initially. He starts up his 4th base, Guru doing the same. And both players just again going right now toe to toe with each other. Nothing really too crazy. I like these roach drops continue to try and come in. Johnny Rico picking up on them once again though already. And he's in position to start turning them away. Queen got a little bit of damage done. Once the Hydras come out, they'll be able to really stop these roach drops from doing too much. See this Roach Ravager coming in. Of course, the cancel and just begin to drop a couple of corrosive files. Some Ravagers coming in here as well. Hydra's coming in to this army too. This gonna be a little bit interesting. Pulling back as these corrosive files come in. Not many Ravagers right now for Johnny Rico, but he does come into this army with some Hydras in this as well. It looks like Johnny Rico just has so much more here. He's gonna be standing corrosive files if he doesn't move away, and he does have to move back right now. So moves back, and that was a bit of a good trade for Johnny Rico, I think. And as we see a couple of overlords loading up once again, more roaches gonna go back into the main. And these roaches gonna be dropping down and actually sniping down a queen once more. So this roach drop play continuously from Guru is going to be just again time after time a little bit annoying here, and getting some good damage done. I like it. It's cool as we see the Lurker Den coming up for Guru. He's got a few Hydras in his army right now, but no muscular augments, so really just looking to morph these into Lurkers here in the next few minutes. As we see Johnny Rico moving out to the middle of the map. He's 20 army supply up. He sees his opponent. He's going to collapse in on this as the lurkers begin to morph in as well. Oh, Johnny Rico. Now would be the perfect time to fight, really, when lurkers are morphing in. Like, you know, it's perfect, right? You know, he's going to start pushing into this now. Is he going to just sit in these corrosive biles? He's going to lose a few ravages because of this. But again, them lurkers are in the back, and they're not here just yet. They're going to finish up now as Johnny Rico takes a good start to this engagement. Lurkers will be targeted here. There is an overseer nearby. Yeah, there must be. There it is. For Johnny Rico, and he takes this down, and Guru takes a lot of damage. And he's going to fall very far behind now in this game. Loses a lot of his lurkers. Army supplies to leave, and still some harassment coming on in the main base. These drops continuing to just be annoying time and time again. As both players remaxing on the roaches, and 20 army supply lead for Johnny. In fact, more army supply lead, 30 army supply lead for Johnny Rico. He's behind in workers. But again, good fights from Johnny Rico so far. Has been giving him the advantages here. If he takes this, Nuit Blanche would go 2-0 up against True Esports. And that would be a, well, that would just be absolutely crazy. As we see these roaches starting to move across for Johnny Rico again. He's once again going to kind of catch Guru's army kind of half and half in the middle of the map, but Guru realizes this time, backs away before an engagement can happen. And Guru again invested to that lurker den, but hasn't had the chance to actually make any lurkers yet. Hydras will find these overlords, and they will be able to start picking away at these as Guru has a few roaches down to the side. So again, he's going to start taking a fight, which he doesn't really have the number advantage in at all. His roaches now coming in from the back, and well, Johnny Rico's sort of less fighting in a couple of spine claws and does end up getting surrounded. Is this going to turn out okay for Guru? It looks as though it might. It's a very even trade for the most part. Corrosive Biles land in there, starting to pick off these Ravagers though. It's still very even. It's just the Ravagers staying alive for Johnny Rico. As reinforcements come in to help push this back. Crazy back and forth game right now as Guru's still just about hanging in here with Roach Ravager. Again, no muscular augments, no real plan for him to really commit into a heavy Hydras based army. Just wants some lurkers here or there perhaps, and maybe he has a chance now to get back into them, but Johnny Rico's coming over to the left hand side. Guru is not going to be allowed to take this base over here. Don't know if he really thought that was going to be successful or not, but it is denied as both players up on 4 hatcheries now. Johnny Rico still has this pocket expansion to take, which is nice. However, it doesn't mean that this 4th base is very exposed currently, as we see Guru coming down this right hand side of the map. A few roaches here from Johnny Rico, going to have to back off once again. And you see Guru coming in, and we're going to see what he can do. A few roaches already positioned here in case of a run by like this though. And Johnny Rico is again just seemingly on top of the majority of things right now in this game. As he comes forward, he's going to start cleaning out these roaches, and it looks as though Guru is going to start taking a lot of damage. Some more roaches over here get denied. Johnny Rico cleaning up once again. Worker counts even up a little bit. 7 worker deficit for Johnny Rico. Slight army supply lead. Banks dead even. Upgrades starting to favor Johnny Rico too, as he adds his +2 carapace here. Cleans out a few more roaches as he catches them in the middle of the map. Guru trying to get his 5th base established here to the top side, something which Johnny Rico isn't moving towards just yet, and Guru also starting up his hive tech, something which Johnny Rico has got in mind but hasn't again moved into just yet, with that infestation pit only just about ready to finish now. These roaches and ravagers are going to come in. We see a ravager snipe down over here, and this army from Johnny Rico is going to continue to look to see what he can get up to. Roaches, ravagers, and the hydras going to force this army back into a corner. And he's going to really have a great engagement here at the start of this. Guru having so much of his army just trapped out of position. Lurkers come down, but when there's nothing in front of them to tank, it doesn't even matter. And actually Guru is just in trouble anyways, because Johnny Rico is going to move up this ramp, and it looks as though he's going to be able to take down this base as well. He just moves away from the lurkers, doesn't even have to fight them in the end. As we're going to see them trying to get forwards, but this is going to be targeted down, and Johnny Rico opening a huge supply advantage now. 20 workers being killed, a few more continue to drop here and there, but for the most part, it's Johnny Rico who just has way too much, and Guru is going to have to tap out of this game in just a few moments' time, as this hatchery will fall. And well, Guru maybe cleans up this army just about, as it's getting a little bit low on health, and his reinforcements are coming in, but as reinforcements come in for Johnny Rico, it's just going to be way too much. So Guru does turn this away, but so much damage taken. 4th base lost. Drones have fallen. And Johnny Rico about to take a carapace upgrade advantage. And also going to be about to, well, still already has a big supply lead here. And a bank to spend as well. Starts up his hive. I don't think the hive of Guru is going to really come into action at all in this game. There's a few more roaches come in. couple of lurkers on Burrow, and just going to move a little bit to the right once again. So just a little bit of repositioning here and there from Guru as Johnny Rico begins to move across the map and look to see what he can get up to. A couple of roaches coming up here, and Johnny Rico will see that Guru is, he sees his army, Guru's army's over there as his own army comes up, and again, looking like a good start to this series for Nuit Blanche as Johnny Rico. If he puts them 2 up here, I mean, what a position that will be. Obviously, still another kind of strong player from TES to go through in E-Laser. But I think they might have to send E-Laser out next, because I think, why waste more players on Johnny Rico? The sooner you get rid of this guy, the sooner it's going to get a lot easier for you and your team. As you see this third base under fire, and Johnny Rico going to just be slowly pushing into this. The lurkers not in high enough number to really make a difference here. The third hatch falls as well. Corrosive keep falling as well, also on top of anything and everything they can get onto. And just a little bit more damage being added on as Johnny Rico playing this so safe, pulling back once more. And these roaches and rabbits going to move over to the right hand side. Might try and attack up into this hatchery here. Definitely a possibility, and I mean, why not? He's got so much army, there's nothing to really stop him. He moves away from his lurkers just to, again, play it safe. A couple of queens already going down up on the high ground, though, as Johnny Rico's army finally comes around the corner and is able to take the concave and get behind the mineral line and start picking off the workers. The lurkers are sort of, slowly kind of trapping this army in here, but again, as an overseer comes in, I really think as though there's enough army for Johnny Rico to just attack forwards, kill off the lurkers, no real problem. Corrosive bars will either force them to lift or kill them off, and it will be killing them off. There's Johnny Rico again. 150 supplied to the 60, or 50 now. It just drops and drops and drops. Johnny Rico has this, and Guru has to tap out. Nuit Blanche are going to go 2-0 up against True Esports, and again, we're going to go into this right now. To the top right side, we have Azurk, who's on a roll on Orbital Shipyard now. Is going to be Johnny Rico taking games 1 and 2. And the Protoss player to come out from True Esports is going to be Greishrail. We started this off with a 40-minute game 1 between Johnny Rico and Beastie Cutie. Beastie Cutie being the player who all killed for True Esports last week against Flipside Tactics. Now they find themselves 0-2 down and struggling to deal with the first player out of Nuit Blanche. Pool comes down here after the hatchery, so hatch gas pool. Startup for Johnny Rico. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Just a very standard setup to begin with. As you see, the Nexus coming down. Greishrail just beginning to expand. I'm just going to call him Rail because that's what his ID is, I believe. I don't know what he was to be called. It used to be Verdi, and I'll probably end up calling him Verdi again just out of habit. You know when someone's called, you know when who someone is. It's like you just keep calling them their old name or something. Anyways, how you guys doing in the chat? Let me know what's up. Hello, Minibok. We're going to be live for well, this is our last series of the day. We've already been live for, I can't remember what time we started today. I think 3 my time. So we've already been live over 7 hours. So unfortunately, we're going to be done pretty soon here. But again, we'll be live tomorrow. IEM qualifies EU and NA, and we'll sort of go into that as well. And Tasmoff, whoever was saying that they would, I can't scroll up again right now to remember your name, but whoever said, I begin with like Tal or so. Whoever said they'd PM me, I'll check it after the stream. As we see, Probe just finished scouting across the map here and has seen what's going on already. He has seen the hatch gas pool opening, or seen the timings and seen no third. So I mean, he knows what's up. So he's happy to come back home now. I'm going to drop a very fast robot facility here, almost in range, almost in vision of this Overlord. Unfortunately, this Overlord is moving in the wrong direction to scout that, so it's good for Rail, as we see another gateway being added on here as well. And the wall off on the ramp just to stop any Zerglings getting across and up here in the near future. Third hatch drops down for Johnny Rico as well in position. Did I set it to 1-1? Why did I set it to 1-1? I'm so dumb. It's because I didn't update the graphics before. I had to BRB quick. And then I came back and like panic updated them quickly. My bad. I should have just left it until the next break. That's what you get for trying to do the production and solo casting at the same time. You see these lings starting to come across the map. I'm going to look to see what they can get up to as they come across and look to see what's going on. Robot facility has got a warp prism on the way out. will be looking to adept drop here early on in the game, as we see Twilight Council coming up to follow this. These lanes have seen the robo facility now, so he knows what's going on. And he knows that's pretty early on here. And I wonder if Rail here wants to go for kind of a follow-up kind of immortal all-in or something, because of just how fast this Warp Prism is. We'll see if here very soon what he makes after this Warp Prism. I mean, he's got not much gas right now, so maybe just some observers, in fact. And maybe it's just going to be a little bit of a drop to start things off. Sentry here. I'm just going to move across with just 2 Adepts in the Warp Prism. He'll warp the rest in as he gets across the map. As we see Zergling... there it is, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on the Zergling instead of the melee upgrade. The melee upgrade on the way for Johnny Rico is going to be able to come in. And that's going to be giving his Zerglings a little bit more power, a little bit more oomph early on in this game. Rotron is dropping down as well, about to finish up here for Johnny Rico. So there's a couple of Adepts coming over to this side, and again, this Warp is just going to harass around, see if he can pick up any damage here or there, and just see what he can achieve. Doesn't look as though he's going to commit too much. He's not very scared of actually showing this Warpism, so he's just going to come in, move it back, and go from here. Third next has been established by Greshrail, so he's getting this set up right now. A Zergling comes in to scout this, and well, if it's lucky, we'll be able to get around the top side, and Verdino's not quite moving his units into position in time. So Johnny Rico gets out with this one. Resonating Glaive's about to finish up as well for Rail, as he adds on a couple more gates. Forge on the way too, I imagine, to follow this up. I mean, again, generally we see Charge Lot, Immortal Archon as the composition, so if he wants to play a standard game, it's probably going to be Charge coming up as the next upgrade on the Twilight Council, lining up with the +1, and he can start building his Immortals out of the... Robo facility as well. The other way, something we saw earlier today in the Sibet race was from Super, is to go into a Blink upgrade, and with the Blink upgrade, you're actually able to go into a, with Resonating Glaives and Blink, you're kind of able to go into a very strong 3-base timing. As these first Adepts are actually doing quite a lot of damage here. Going to start picking off Queens in a moment. Actually going to just start targeting drones. Could have got the Queens if he'd wanted to. Now it's probably time to back away. He has to try and get these back in the Warp Prism without losing the Warp Prism. And there he is. He's just going to save 4 of them. That's quite nice. He killed off a lot of them Zerglings and traded against a few drones. Good little play there by Greshrail, who will just be starting up an Immortal now. So he is going to go into Immortals, and I still wonder if he just tries to go for a bit of a 3-base timing. His gases are coming in fairly late, and again, he's investing into this Blink early, which is generally more of a... Well, I mean, the charge can be aggressive too. I don't know. This is just something we see players doing, but I don't really see the kind of desire to go Blink before charge, because it just seems that for the most part, charge is just so much better lately in the matchup and in towards the mid game. So just Warpism backing off a little bit over to the left hand side. We'll pop back in. We'll just see these roaches and have to move away once again. Probably Hydroden coming down for Johnny Rico. Still melee upgrades. And with melee upgrades, probably just looking to go straight into the Lurker Den and play kind of Lurkerling in towards the late game, which will be for where he'll be looking for Aspire and where he'll be looking for Broodlords most likely. And there's that Lurker Den coming down. Again, I mean, if you invest in melee upgrades, you're not going to be investing in melee upgrades if you're going to play a Roach Hydra mid game generally, which means obviously if you're going to play a Roach Hydra mid game, then you're probably not going to start up. Then you're probably not going to start up a Lurker Den. You're probably going to get Muscular Augments first. So just a nice way to tell what might be going on there as we see the 4th hatch coming down to the top for Johnny Rico. And still just building up here at home is Greshrail. I mean, +2 coming up. His charge now starts again. The trifecta of upgrades off of the Twilight Council. Temple Archives will finish up soon as well. And as that finishes, we'll see him be able to morph in some Archons. We still see some Adepts coming in and harassing now into this natural expansion. And again, just a little bit of damage being done here or there. He can try and trade against these Hydras. He gets 1. Hydra for an Adept, pretty good trade if you ask me. I mean, as time goes by, I don't really feel like these Adepts are something he wants as a core part of his army. He has a couple in here, but again, for the most part, he's probably not too sad if he loses one here and one there. And just taking down a Hydra, it's a small trade. Very similar, alright sort of trade, as we see Storm being researched and just a couple of Templar out starting to build up energy. Again, this is not going to be a commitment to the Hydras. This is going to be a lot of these Hydras becoming Lurkers here in the next few moments. As you see these units just pulling back a little bit. We see the Lurkers starting to morph in here. As the Hallucinated Phoenix comes in and sees a Spore Crawler, a couple of Hydras there. And so it's probably not worth bringing the Warp Prism back into this location just yet. Storm's about to finish up in that +2 as well, as we mentioned before, as well as charge, so really just continuing with all the important upgrades here. There's not going to be many more upgrades for our Pro player to really invest into, apart from further attack and armor upgrades, obviously. But you know, he's got the main important upgrades such as charge, blink, resonating glaives, and storm. I can't think of anything else he'll really research, apart from armor and attack upgrades, at least for the very near future. Maybe if he goes up to Stargate Tech for the late game. So basically all wins does now start from Johnny Rico, but there's them lurkers currently out, 8 lurkers in total so far. And the hive starts up as well for him in the main base, so going in towards the hive tech, going to be looking to see what's going on, looking to see if he can get in towards them Broodlords, which is probably going to be his late game choice of tech. I mean, the Spider drops down now. I mean, Ultras just don't work. To put it simply, in ZVP, Ultras are just crap, like, completely. I mean, what do you really gain from Ultras? You're going to fight into pros who are already making Immortals, already making Archons, and they're just crap, for the most part, as far as I understand anyways. As we see these, this army just, again, pushing, clean up a little bit of creep, loving this counter-attack potential by Johnny Rico. Going to try and run in here, but Ferdy sees it in plenty of time to start warping in on his main. Stops them getting in there. Warping on the natural as well. I'm just going to see these lings in the end, just going to get shut down. I'm just going to have to try and escape over to the left hand side again. So a few lings going down, don't really achieve anything, but it's a good threat. I suppose when I say they don't really achieve anything, it's a lie, because he did force the army to pull back from the aggressive position it was setting itself up into. And as you see a little bit of Roach Ling moving to the side, a single Hydra has come for the journey. And some Zealots get surrounded by these Lings over here now, and again with +2 melee upgrades, these Lings do a lot of damage quite fast, as this Templar didn't manage to storm itself there. That'll clean up those Zerglings in time. Throwing overcharge coming on a pylon once again. Just blinking over here. Is Garishrael going to have enough in time to stop this Nexus from falling? He's taking so much damage on this Nexus. It's going to be very close. Big blink forwards. It looks as though he'll keep it alive on what? 34 health? Well, I mean, that's literally going to go down in a matter of seconds. I mean, I think Johnny Rico, yeah, he literally already sends some... okay, maybe they're not going to be sent out, but very soon he'll send some Zerglings out across the map towards that 4th base. This is going to go down. Puts the Chrono Boost onto it. I'm not sure if he had it on something else before, but Chrono Boost will help it to regenerate its shields a little bit faster. So you'll have a little bit more health on it and a little bit more chance of keeping it survive in the future. Creep Tumor being killed up here or there. And some Zealots looking to try and counterattack into these bases. And just clean up the creep as they go. Johnny Rico once again counterattacking with some Zerglings. So again, time after time, just the same sort of things going on here. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This guy counterattacks, the other guy counterattacks. As you see the Warpism in position to the top left side. Lurker's already in position to deal with these Zealots though, and so not really surprised when they tell you know, kill every single creep tumor on their way to the base. Just like a little bit of a warning that they're going to be coming here sort of soon. And some more Lings coming over to try and help defend against these Zealots over here, who go for a bit of a sprint after them Zerglings. Actually get a good position. These Spore Crawlers are going to help the Pros play out quite significantly. Finally, those Zerglings are able to pull them through and get a full proper surround now. So both these players are playing fairly passively. My problem for Verdi is, I mean, fairly passively with, you know, hints of harassment around the map, Zerglings counter-attacking, or just Zealots warping in. But, yeah. It's, my problem for Verdi is that he doesn't have a tech switch here, you know, he doesn't have a late game yet. He started up his Void Ray production now, but is that going to be enough? Is it going to be in time? Because his Broods are already out, and they have the potential to start moving across the map. You see some Stalkers basically being sacrificed right now, which is kind of interesting. If you're going to sacrifice anything at this point, I mean, sacrifice the Zealots, sacrifice the Adepts, like, they're the units which are not really going to help you against these Broodlords. The Stalkers would have a chance of helping you out against the Broodlords. As we see, a lot of Lurkers, not really much to support these Broods, apart from Lurkers underneath. But obviously not a lot to really protect them against Void Rays. And the Void Ray production here going to be nice for Garishrael, because with the ability to have these Void Rays up already, the Corruptors are already not going to have the best of times fighting and defending the Broodlords either. As I mean, if this goes on like this, we might be in for what, like the third, well, no, the second really long game of this series, which would be crazy, honestly. Ling is going to head back home. Some Adepts now are sacrificing themselves again, just freeing up supply so you can kind of he's just freeing up supply so he's able to go into whatever else he needs to go into, more Tempest, more Sky Toss units. As again, the Adepts, these Zealots aren't really, you know, it's nice if they do something, but they're expected to die here for the most part. They were useful earlier in the game, but not so much anymore. Second Spire coming in for Johnny Rico. Nice network too, so you can go and counter-attack around the map. As we see these couple of lurkers burrowed, and going to be able to clean out these few adepts in the front. Stalker goes down here as well. Still a War Prism to the top left side, and a few Voids just looking around to see what they might be able to get up to here in the next few moments. There's these Corruptors, these Broodlords, a couple of Vipers as well. It's going to be a little bit cautious as to what's going on. We're going to see the Lurkers starting to load into the Nidus, and that Nidus network is the sort of thing which you're expecting to see, although it looks as though Greshrail is picked up in this Nidus immediately. You're just going to leave the Voids here, and so that's not going to be too useful. Corruptors coming forward, getting stormed. Gonna have to turn around now. Nidus didn't even last long enough for us to get here while it was alive. As we see, still, I mean, Johnny Rico just maxed out, building a bank, and happy to go late game, it seems. This is what he did against Showtime last week in game number 6 against Millennium. And he just went late game and just let it happen, and he kind of lost to Carriers and Tempests. Right now, we might see something happening in the next few moments here, because we do see our Pros player pushing across the map aggressively. No membership corner recalls, so this is a very committed attack. Big parasitic bombs coming down, going to start a lot of splash damage onto this. As Corruptors coming forwards as well. Lurker's going to try and run underneath, as a lot of these High Templar are starting to go down, but so many Void Rays just helping out so much with this, and maybe just, well, maybe, I was going to say maybe too much of commitment to ground, but there's still 8 Immortals in here as well for the Pros players, so I don't think the Lurkers are that much of an issue. I just think it's that these Corruptors are not going to do so well against these Void Rays. A couple more Corruptors coming in, but Verdi just seems to have way too much right now. Slowly these Voids are falling, but not as fast, but, you know, they're falling slowly. The Corruptors are falling very, very quickly, as now these Broodlords are going to be chased, and they're going to start going down. A single Spore Crawler is what they're falling back to. More Corruptors in the production tab as well. That Spore isn't going to last very long at all. And that was a good trade here by Verdi, I think, for the most part. I feel like it's moving over to this side. This Sky Arm is still very scary. However, is he overcommitting? Does he need to fall back home? This is something we saw earlier from Space Marine against Namshar and Red Bloods against Carnage. And what we're seeing right now is these Voids still doing a lot of damage, but again, these Corruptors are keeping on coming out. Does he need to just fall back, wait for some more Tempests and Voids, and wait for, most importantly, his his next wave of Storm, as we see the Lurker Den being targeted down. Here come these Voids once again, targeting down these Corruptors so quickly. Transfusers trying to keep them alive a little while longer. The Tempests are not fighting with these at the same time, so Greshrail is losing a lot here. He needs to back away, and this is what I was talking about backing off. And Voids are very nice against the Corruptors, but the Tempests, if they were there at the same time, would have been nice, and of course if there's some Storms there also, it would have been even better. As this army is going to start pulling back a little bit from our Protoss player. War Prism in position to this top left hand side. Some Lings are going to start streaming over to the top left as well, and looking to counterattack once again. Greshrail down to just 160 supply. Not able to remax just yet. He has got a fair amount in his bank still, but he's just slowly spending it, so nothing too crazy. It's not a huge bank. It's not really a bank at all even. It's just kind of not spending his money just yet, I suppose, as we see the Lings continuing to stream on in. A couple more Hydralisks as well, as you see this position over here. Tempest starting to pick away from a distance. As you see a few units coming out of this nice network. Queen's here to transfuse and helping the Sky battle. As these Lings and a couple of Hydras are going to look to see what they can get up to as they stream on in. They start picking off a bunch of probes. And they're taking down a cannon or two as well. So cannons continuing to fall, and a couple of Hydras just coming up this ramp and taking down this pylon also. So a little bit of a counter-attack here from our Zerg player, who is currently under attack at the front. Lots more Voids here. A couple of High Templar are underneath this mothership. Is he going to find them? Oh, do something with High Templar, storm or something. I don't know. Is it worth storming? I mean, it must be, right? Like, never a bad idea to storm. There we go. Finally, he does begin to storm. A little bit late, however, as we see these Templars still working their way. If them storms came in a bit sooner, again, just a little bit more of this would have survived us. Maybe there's just a few too many Tempests right here, though, as a few Queens on the low ground as well, still just transfusing as best they can. As we see a couple more Voids coming into play, just help get rid of these Corruptors a little bit faster. That's what he needs. A couple more Corruptors coming into play from the reproduction, but it looks as though Greshrail is just going to have a little bit too much in the skies. Last Corruptor falls. Now it's only Queens, but 2 more Corruptors coming in. This still isn't over just yet, as he's wasting time kind of attacking Broodlords, and he needs this time to still be winning the kind of air battle here. Oh, one Tempest survives on 1 hit point. When have you ever seen that before? I don't think I've ever seen a Tempest survive on just 1 hit point. As we see over to the left-hand side, top left side, Warp Prism able to... It's been here for a long time. It hasn't been used in a long time at all. It's been sat there for ages. But will be usable here if required. But there's a Queen popping out of this base, and so finally, Greshfield remembers about this Warp Prism and pulls it back. As you see, a lurker, stray lurker in the middle of the map gets killed off. As both players really starting to establish this lower side of the map as their own. Tempest, Voids, few Zealots, couple Templar, all in this army here to the high ground. All in this army here, which is moving towards the upper side of the map, the high ground. I don't even know what I was thinking there. As we see, Johnny Rico going to refocus his attention to this upper side, and Greshfield is going to move over towards the right. Johnny Rico a little bit out of position here, and these Zerglings are going to have, well, not too great a time. Nice changing though, keeping an idea, just because he's got map control for changing and these lings, he always knows where his opponent's army is, and that's, that goes a long way. 2 cannons are not going to last 2 seconds in this position, as a few Zealots get walked in to try and defend this base, and they're not going to last 2 seconds at all either. There's a lot of workers going down to this bottom right hand side. So a lot of workers getting killed off here. These Lings are going to be able to kill off this Nexus as well. And again, these Ling run-bys just doing so much damage time after time for Johnny Rico, as they're going to try and escape, but will be cleaned up for the most part by this army. The last couple of Tempest shots will finish them off there. And of course, a few burrowed here to try and cancel this Nexus once again, once it gets rebuilt in a few moments' time. Presumably. It's the second time I messed up a word today. As you see these High Templar again. I mean, this army for Verdi is scary, right? I mean, lots of Storms available. He's got lots of Voids, a few Tempests as well. Again, it's kind of Queen Corruptor. I mean, it's one of these fights which are just kind of going to... Depends how clumped the Zerg army is. Depends how... it just depends. Is there enough for the Zerg to kill off what there is of the pros? It's very hard to analyze these Sky armies. I mean, is 11 Voids enough against 22 Corruptors? It's just one of them things. We see Lings are getting ready to counterattack again. In the long run here, Johnny Rico's continuing to deny bases, continuing to deny his opponent from building up a bank. And by denying that, he's really able to sort of get into this later stage of the game in a nice... he's going to continue in this later stage of the game in a very strong position. I would love it if Verdi kind of rebuilt his Warp Prism, brought it over here. Does he have a Warp Prism still out? Yeah, he does. I'd love it if he brought the Warp Prism over here. I mean, he doesn't have money right now, but by the time he got over here, maybe just warp in like 10, 12 Zealots and just clean out the main base. Nothing's going to get here for the Zerg player in time. I mean, the Broodlords are the only thing that can realistically clean that up. Unless he literally just won the subs the Awkwardies. That's just, I find that a really tragic name. I think we might just stick with Wardians, brackets of the Balancy / Galaxy. or of whatever we decide. So yeah. I don't know. I should probably do a proper poll with which I send out to my subs that only my subs can vote in. I don't know. Maybe we should just call it the SC2I Sub Club. Maybe that's a better way to do it as well. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyways, so bottom right side of the map from Nuit Blanche, we're gonna have our orange Terran player. It is gonna be Mulu. He was the player who took down Marine Lord in a crazy game last week in the SC2ITL. So. You can see the highlight of that on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/SC2Improve. His opponent right now is our Protoss player who just took down Johnny Rico. How is his PVT looking? That's going to be the question. As to the top left side, we have from True Esports, it is Rail, or Garage Rail, or Verdi. I'm pretty sure I called him each of those names multiple times during that last game, during that last map. So apologies for any confusion caused. I just keep forgetting that he's called Rail, or Garage Rail. God damn it, people that changed their names. What's wrong with Verdi? Verdi was so nice and simple, you know? Alright, so... early on here, not a lot going on, just the early SCV scout seeing the fast expansion from our Protoss player. Gas coming up afterwards. Nothing too crazy. What was the song name? Honestly, Major, why play? I have no idea, but I can give you the mix. If you remind me during the next break, I'll give you a link to the mix that I got it from, because it's just the first. It's literally the first mix I got on YouTube, because my Spotify's decided to stop working. So, if you remind me during the next break, I'll give you the mix, and it's just the first song in the mix, and it's probably even listed in the mix, but I just have no idea at all. As we see, a couple of Reapers on the way out actually from Mulu, which is a bit of a different way to open in the TVP matchup. A little bit interesting. Warriors. Warriors Waziz. I don't know. Yeah, I know Awkwardies is funny, but like, if I got called an Awkwardy, I wouldn't sub if someone started calling me an Awkwardy. Like, that sounds, I don't know. Whatever. Two Reavers coming in and start doing quite a lot of damage, a lot more than, well, a lot more than Virgil's really kind of ready to take from Reapers, because he probably wasn't expecting two of them, as Grenade actually catches one more at the very end. Does this Reaper get away? I think it's far enough away to get down away from the Stalkers, and it is. And 5 workers killed here, so a pretty good opening actually from Mulu. And as we see, Robo Facility dropped, and Twilight Council as well, going for the Blink research to start things off here. As we see a couple of more gateways coming in. A couple more gates being added on. And we see a Cyclone on the way. Stimpack coming up as well from Mulu. And yeah, just a few Marines sat at the front. More dinosaurs for the win. Yeah, I really did like the more dinosaurs one, but it wasn't very popular at all on the poll. it doesn't really make sense. It's like war dinosaurs, like, I don't know. Wardies, war deities. I don't know. I just feel as though when we find the right name, it'll just seem so right, you know? It'll just seem right, you know? It'll just seem like it was meant to be when we find the right one. I did like Wardians. Like Wardians of the Balance. Or something. I don't know. Maybe we should move away from Wardy and go for something that goes with SC2I or something. Anyways, we do have Stalkers coming in here. Blink about to finish. I'm really being a little bit aggressive with these Marines in this cycle, and I don't really like this. I think the Blink play, the Stalker play early on is very... I like generally you being aggressive with the Marines in a Cyclone, but I think against Blink Stalkers, I think the Stalker play is actually a very hard counter to someone who is aggressive with their early Marines and their early Cyclones. So they're just going to fall back for now, which is, to me, a good thing, I think, for Mulu. And we see another Stalker or two getting warped in here. I'm going to start trying to push across the map, I imagine, in a few moments' time. We could just call them Wardies Wards. That'd be easy, wouldn't it? Wardies Ward... I don't know. Alright, we need to stop talking about this again, otherwise I'm just going to never stop talking about it. Warp Prism coming into play, we saw that Robo Facility coming up some time ago. It has also so far made a couple of observers. It didn't rush into the Warp Prism. As you see, the Stalkers are looking to push the front, and, well, going to be a little bit annoying to deal with these, as, how many gates is there? Just 3. So, I mean, it's not all in or anything like that. It's just kind of some pressure here of the Blink Stalkers. Tank will unload and just help to push these back as the Warp Prism wants to try and, you know, put some pressure in the main base at the same time. All of this just a way for Greshriel to move in towards a nice, fast third base without too many further issues. You see the Resonating Glaives coming up. And yeah, Resonating Glaives on the way up. We're going to see our Templar starting to move out a little bit. Wow, Dizzy PP has literally just nailed. That is actually, how did you even know that that's what I was listening to? That was the mix I'm listening to. So it's the first song on there. That's crazy. Have you listened to it before? How do you figure it out? Because that is ridiculous. Like, crazy. That's legit crazy if you just... Wow. Anyway, some Stalkers coming towards the front here, looking to be a bit aggressive. Just, again, make the town a little bit scared of the idea of moving out. I mean, Stim's finished, though. Third CC starts now as well. And that Stim's finished, and Combat Shields and +1 are finishing. It's about time to push onto the map a bit. Loads up into these medevacs, these tanks. And the tank's going to come across the map as well. As we see, yeah. These Stalkers just being pushed back. And we're going to see a scan coming down just to see what's going on. A couple of adepts moving forwards. A couple of them shares looking to see his opponent's army, as we see another tank and some marines moving out to join up with this army in the middle, and could be a bit of an engagement in a few moments' time. And Garishrael currently investing into storm research. As you see, Blink Force trying to get that cyclone, but tanks just on the edge managed to push those stalkers back. Another scan, keeping an eye on the army he's fighting into. Tank's going to unload on the high ground, which is going to allow our Protoss player to, well, it's going to allow our template to really start pushing up towards this gold base here in the next few moments, as we see, again, these tanks just staying that high ground. That's what Mulu wants to bait Garishrael into right now. And as you see, a couple of tanks just moving forwards a little bit more. Storm now finished, and High Templar is out. How many Templar are actually out? Just 2. 1, 2. They're both around here somewhere. Not sure where exactly. I know one's over here. Can't quite see the other one. As we do see this attack starting to happen. One storm comes up to the high ground though, and that's going to allow them to start picking away at these siege tanks. And it looks like Garishrael will turn this around without too much of an issue. One Templar, the other one was all the way back in the natural. Okay, now I don't feel as silly and as blind. As still going to see Mulu not really being able to fight this army. I'm just going to have to back away. His own third base is going to start landing now, and he's obviously in a big income and disadvantage right now, 1.8k to 1.1k. But as he's able to start getting his own gold base mining, this will start to catch up once again. He's even going to planetary force here. Wow, that's a bit brave. Well, not brave, it's a bit cowardly to make the planetary force, but you know, it's like, it's kind of brave because he's saying, I don't need the third mule to kind of, you don't need that income to really have a chance in this game. As you see, steaming forwards here, the Templar with the storms are very far in the back right now. In fact, it is still just mixed into the middle here. We see him, Mulu, trying to target this down. It was a bit of a better fight for him as Verdi was walking into his tanks. And you see another Templar joining the fray. Fourth base on the way for Garishrael as well, back at home. We're going to see a couple of bunkers dropping down. And just a couple of bunkers, yeah, I mean, a couple of bunkers. Tanks behind this. Marine Marauder here as well. As you see a drop coming over to the right hand side, but spotted. And the Stalker's blinking in and cleaning that out without too much of an issue. Garishrael just continuing to take advantages right now in this game number 4, and if he takes this, he will, we will be in a tied up series. As you see a few units jumping into the bunkers. Scan comes down, sees no gold base as the 4th, and so maybe doesn't realize the 4th base of his opponent is up where it is. You see a ghost being added into the composition now as well. Garishrael, however, is continuing to take an upgrade lead. He's continuing to look great in economy with the 4th base coming up. I mean, everything that's going on right now for our Protoss play is looking fantastic, whereas for our Terran, he's sort of pinned back into 3 bases. He's slowly getting his upgrades. They're a little bit late than his opponents. He's starting his 4th CC much later than his opponent's 4th base. You know, nothing really seems to be going our Terran's way, so he's just going to keep sitting here very defensively. A couple of ghosts now out as well. There's an observer sat in the main, and War Prison will be looking to probably start harassing towards the main base in the near future. This is nice, actually, going to find some damage with these Marine Marauders and these Medivacs which have moved across the map, so this is something. Actually, there's some Stalkers still over here as well, which are going to have to blink away, but some Adepts in front that actually should be enough to shut this down, and maybe you can get a couple of worker kills from the low ground, but looks like for the most part he just wants to get back home. Well, Medivacs here doesn't really want them all to get caught out, as now he scans, he sees the 5th base coming up as well. So Mulu's starting to realize that he's in a little bit of trouble. He's just kind of, well, yeah, in a little bit of trouble, I say. I mean, he's just behind in bases, and again, his opponent just seems to have the answer in terms of army every time he tries to engage. A couple of Phoenix are out, which is perhaps to start picking up these siege tanks during the engagements, which can be very effective. Shutdown drops as well to some extent, though probably not the biggest of, probably not the main thing he's really looking for. Nice EMP, as the feedback comes down there. I think on the guns that already EMP'd, though, so not much of a difference. A couple of storms, and yeah, nice little back and forth here. And as we see our Terran player wants to try and take a fight, will siege up, but of course, as soon as he sieges up, our Protoss player is just going to disengage, isn't going to fight into siege tanks unless forced to. So, Garishrael doing the right thing, just moving back a little bit. As you see this Marine Marauder force, once again, let's see what we can get up to. A couple of tanks firing onto that army straight away. And they're going to lift up in these Medivacs now, move a little bit further forwards. It's the same sort of push as earlier, where we just see our Protoss player slowly being engaged into, as our Terran player just slowly pushes up this kind of side of the map, using this kind of chasm behind him as a way to avoid being flanked or anything. And Archon just go down here now, and actually this base is going to be under fire. And that's why taking this base, probably why he didn't expect this base to be taken, especially when he's playing a tank-based composition. Because why would he take this base when it's so easily sieged by tanks, is probably what Mulu was thinking earlier. Obviously didn't bother Greishrail, and he was deciding what to go for. The EMPs land on the Phoenix, which is nice, takes them, pretty much makes them useless in this engagement as a couple of storms do land. Again, needs to try and EMP those High Templar. There's only one more storm in this army right now, as this fourth base is dropping down in health. Shields are gone, and its real hit points are now falling. You see a couple of Livery starting to come into play as well. There's a few Stalkers trying to come in. They don't really help out too much either. Protoss just wants to take the right engagement here, and that's a big EMP though, and this is going to be maybe time to go for our Terran player. Huge EMP takes down all of the storms available, and a lot more of the shields, as we see a single feedback being dropped on another ghost. There's another Templar from the back, but wow, that does make this Protoss army a little bit weaker for a little bit of time now. Allows the Terran to push just a little bit further forwards here, but there's another EMP possibility. Big storm actually coming in from the High Templar. Another ship core goes down. Tanks on the high ground, from the low ground, still fighting the high ground, and that base of the high ground will go down as Mulu still pushing in this direction. Upgrades are even for a few more moments until +3 kicks in for our Protoss player, and Tempest production has started as well. So Greishrail looking to try and hold on here, looking to try and take his team 2-2 as Mulu with this aggressive push through the map. I think that was a feedback and a Templar then getting blown to pieces by the tank. So a bit of a trade there, as you see a couple more units continuing to push forwards, looking to see what they can get up to. Big EMP on the back of that army once again, keeping these High Templar low on energy, forcing them to morph into Archons instead. As the Liberators push even further forwards, of course that's something the Tempests are here to deal with. More and more Liberators being made. Storms from the high ground don't achieve anything at all actually, they kind of miss the siege tanks even. So big storm there though. Medevacs, lots of energy to heal up though. Still more and more Templar, and it's a slow, careful fight which our Terran player is trying to pick here. As these Liberators are slowly going to be pushing him back, as we see nice snipers. Oh, another storm on the high ground hits a lot of the bio. This time the storms from the high ground a little bit stronger. There's one single ghost here, so slow hit points. One hit point ghost is trying to survive. We're going to see them probably, he's actually cloaked, so he's not being picked off just yet. And that's why he's probably surviving so long, as another storm just withers away the hit points of this bio as Tempest slowly trying to pick away at what it can. Greishrail slowly being pushed back into this corner. Our Terran players started to take command of the map. We've been focused so much on the middle, we haven't seen our Terran player taking a 4th, 5th, 6th base. While Greishrail has been limited to just these 4 bases, and even now he's still being pushed backwards here. This Liberator is going to look at a reposition once again. Maybe we're going to see a bit of an engagement now. The tanks are going to start sieging up. This is going to be a commitment here from Greishrail. There's a few ghosts which aren't actually landing any EMPs just yet, which could help take down some of these Archons and Immortals just a little bit faster. It looks as though Mulu is going to start winning this fight actually overall. As well, there's a few tanks left over. There's the Liberators that are really left in this, but they're going to get picked off by the Tempest, I imagine, as the War Prism actually saves these Immortals. So many Immortals on such low hit points, but they're going to keep on getting away. 2 of them on 5 hit points remaining, 5 and 4. Crazy, as Mulu is going to get turned around. He's going to have to go back home. The EMP comes down. He could literally turn and just fight these Immortals, I think. As, well, Greishrail needs to be careful not to overcommit now, because honestly that was a very close engagement. Battlecruise is now on the way as well from Mulu. This could still be anybody's game, but the Immortals starting to get their shields up, starting to get their barriers back as well. And that makes it just a little bit harder for our Terran player to really fight this army. 5 Tempests as well, going to make this, well, not the easiest of engagements, as the Tempest will slowly start to pick away from a distance with everything our Terran player has right now. Terran are going to probably try and raid for +3/+3 to finish before he really takes the fight, but he might not get that much time. A Viking or 2 on the way up in production as well, as we see. Again, 1 or 2 of these bases might be in a little bit of trouble, but still, I mean, yeah, okay, Greishrail a little bit of an army supply lead, but only slightly. It's not by a huge amount here. As Tempest continuing to fire from a distance, continuing to get more and more damage done. Marines Marauder a few ghosts. Again, just looking to see what they can get up to, as this refinery is going to be targeted down, going down here in a few more moments. it is, it has now fallen, as we see the storm coming in. A couple of storms on top of this army, big storms on top of this army, as we're just going to see our Terran player continue to commit into this, losing a lot of workers. At the same time, it looks as though Greishrael is just going to have way too much. Another game that really went the distance here in this series, as we're going to be all tied up at 2 games apiece after almost 2 hours of games. Tempest will clean up the rest of this, and Mulu was getting so much done. I loved that fight he took on the top side of the map, but in the end it just wasn't quite enough. And he's going to try and counterattack now with some Marauders. And I mean, Greishrael's only just reset up this base. I mean, it's a very, very close game. It was very, until the very end, it was almost Mulu's to take. I mean, the only thing he was really missing was just a little bit of a kind of follow-up and a little bit more of an answer to the Tempest. And yeah, it was so close. Imagine all these extra Immortals died as well. I mean, it was crazy close at the end there. We're going to see some Marines trying to come in to try and defend. He's just trying to wait as long as he can. Some drops are starting to try and do some damage on the other side of the map, but Tempest will eventually clean this up, force these medevacs away. Woohoo! Playing with fire, playing with death. As you see this Tempest army working away on this 4th base now, and Mulu just losing his traction all over the place. 50 supply down. Gonna be difficult to really make something happen here, but hey, he's got a battlecruiser. You never ever know until this battlecruiser hits. You see the Spiny Force under fire once again. Tempest gonna continue to lay down the damage. Planetary goes down. Battlecruiser actually teleports into the Protoss army as he chases this away with Marines and some Vikings and SCVs as well coming into this, but surely there just is not enough Marines to just keep on chasing this away. That being said, there isn't actually any splash damage, so the Marines are actually doing a lot. They're actually picking off Tempest after Tempest. No way. Is this gonna... Oh, there's the storm. That's the one storm to start turning things around. But wow, that was actually a lot better for Mulu than I thought it was going to be. As he chases this army all the way back. 2 SCVs left over here as well. And you'll see Mulu just regrouping once again. Army gonna move through the middle of the map. We're gonna see coming in from the right hand side, our Protoss player gonna start taking this fight. His Tempests are not nearby. And there's not actually any splash damage in this really. He's gonna split, he's gonna go for this once again. So that's already starting to go down. The army supplies are staying like stupidly close compared to what they really should be. As Greishrael just takes some fights against Marines, which he just needs a few more High Templar really. That's all he really needs. As we see this kind of mass Marine army, is it going to be enough to really kind of make anything else happen now? As you see this base to the left hand side going to start being picked away at as well. A command center over here can maybe bring in a little bit more income for just a little while longer. Sit down on this army. The Templar coming in as well though. This is what this Ghost wants to do. It wants to try to pick away. Not the High Templars. The Templar's going to go down to the Vikings to begin with. Sorry, the Templar going down to the Templar's going down to the Vikings. High Templar comes in with the Storm. Mulu's just losing more and more workers though, down to only 9 SCVs. Feedback comes in before the snipe goes off, and Mulu just has to back away now. And this is pretty much going to be it, as you see a Protoss player fighting forwards, and we're going to see Mulu just start stepping his heart out to try and just survive. And well, he hits a good EMP on the Immortals as well. He's actually cleaning out a lot of this army, a lot more than again you might originally think he would, but it's just not going to be enough. True eSports take the 2-2 red Protoss player to the top right side of the map. From True eSports, Greishrael is already sending a probe across. Fastest scout I have ever seen. To the bottom right side, from Nuit Blanche, our blue Protoss player, it is Shutdown. Finds his opponent straight away. What does he want to do with a probe this fast? He comes in, sees a pylon building. Why does he want to scout this fast in the game? Oh, he's got a gas steal. Interesting. So he wants to just gas steal us, basically ASAP, one of those gases, stop his opponent from, basically forces his opponent to expand. While he at home, he's going into double gas, well, he's not going into double gas because one of them gases is on the other side of the map. it forces his opponent to basically expand. Well, he is going to go into double gas, so he's obviously going to want to play aggressively against an expansion of his opponent here early on in this game number 5 PvP between True Esports and Nuit Blanche. Great Rail against Shutdown. As this probe came in, had a bit of a scout, and Quick Rail going to also just kind of hold this low ground right now. Cybercore on the way for Shutdown, who starts as Zealot, kind of wants to get rid of this simulator of his opponent so he can kind of go into whatever he wants to go into freely. Second gate going to come in here for Rail, and that's going to allow him to maybe go into double Adept, maybe go into double Stalker. We'll see here soon what exactly he wants to commit into at the early stage of this. So as we wait to see what's going on, guys, don't forget that if you're enjoying the show, enjoying the stream, enjoying the casting, you can hit that follow button, see when we go live in the future. We'll be live a lot over the next few days as we have IEM qualifiers on Wednesday and Thursday. Friday we're going to have Team League matches and Assembly as well, so we'll have a full day of casting on Friday, and Saturday we'll have Assembly as well as IEM qualifiers, and Sunday we'll wrap up the day with some more Team League matches once again. So that is our plan. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. So make sure you hit the stream to see when we're live with all of that action over the next few days. And of course, if you're enjoying, don't forget, if you're enjoying, don't forget that you can support the stream through subs, etc. as well. But for now, let's get back into this game and talk about what is going on, because we've seen some Stalkers start up from Garage Trail. We're going to see a Stargate on the way from him in his main base too. With a pylon coming down aggressively, it really looks as though he wants to... It really does look as though he wants to try and end this soon with a very aggressive push. We'll see what comes out the Stargate. With the way he's playing, I mean, it really feels as though an Oracle is maybe not what he's going to go for, and maybe he's going to try and commit into something crazy like a Void Ray straight away, or maybe he goes straight into Phoenix to lift up his opponent's units and take them out of the equation. Either way, it's definitely going to be aggression, as these two Stalkers are already heading towards the front, and again, there's going to be a gateway coming down so he can warp in quickly near his opponent's base. But Shutdown has already started up the Immortal, so Immortal on the way, and we'll see what this is going to be able to achieve, if it's going to be enough to help defend. That Oracle will be coming into play very soon as well. There's not really much anti-air right now. Shutdown actually doesn't even have a Mothership core, neither player does. As we're going to see, the Stalkers looking to try and pick off an Adept here, and we'll be able to pick off the Adept. We'll just kite away against the Zealot as well. Might even try and go up the ramp against the Zealot and try and pick that off, but there's that Immortal, and has to move away with the Stalkers now. A few probes on the low ground, which probably could have been killed off if he'd wanted to, as he comes in, and he will just make sure he gets the few kills on the natural with this Oracle before heading in towards the main base. He's actually just going to go for the Adept here and the Zealot, so he's actually just going to really focus on killing off units first and then probes after. Another Oracle coming across the map too, as this Oracle starts to run out of energy. He's just going to back away. Doesn't have pulsar beams activated anymore, so isn't able to take down the probe that was there on the natural just then. So, Gershriel is actually a little bit supply blocked right now, still warping in aggressively here. One Immortal out for Shutdown, who's lost a few probes. Second Immortal now coming down the ramp as well. So with two Immortals, is he going to be able to hold on, I suppose, has got to be the question. Two Oracles now out, a third one coming up in the production tab also. There's another couple of Stalkers being added in here to try and hit and try and kill at the front. These Oracles are going to be very interesting as they come in. What they're going to work away against initially has got to be the question. As I guess just going to go for the Immortals, going to start working these down. The barriers have got on them, and the Immortals are dying very, very quickly. As the Stalkers are looking to try and do as much as they can as well behind this. The Immortal goes down, and Shutdown just doesn't seem he's going to have enough to be able to defend this. Let's see, to the top left side of the map, we're going to be starting with our pink Terran player for this TVP. It's going to be Bazior from Nuit Blanche. As opponent to the top right from True Esports is going to be the red Protoss player. It's going to be Garrick. Again, guys, what's up in the little chat? Let me know who you're cheering on. Let me know who you want to see taking these games here tonight. Let me know what's happening. Let me know what's up. Let me know how you're all feeling. As we just get set up into this right now. Racks, gas, gate gas. Standard stuff early on here. Nothing too surprising. Not even a gas first from our Terran player. It's not going to play super aggressively one base or anything. Something we see some Terran players choose to do on this map. You do get the horizontal spawns, which are not so bad. It's not the crazy short rush distance spawns of vertical. It's not the nice sort of, macro positions of cross. It's the horizontal. I mean, its horizontal is okay. I think it's all right. It's very droppable. Terran's probably gonna like these spawns, honestly. I think, for the most part. As you see this Nexus just spinning away here. Chrono boosting. Cybercore gonna drop down from Protoss. As Probe just been into scouting and seen that it's just going to be a single gas Rax play, so it's going to be a fast expansion from our Terran. Our Terran player got in and saw, well, actually not very much. So, oh, does he not think his opponent's top right?
Upgrade.
Is that what it is? Is the Reaper rallied down south? Oh my god, he doesn't think his opponent's in the top right. Bazio has come so far into the base and just hasn't seen anything. And just assumes his opponent isn't in this top right location, so this Reaper is going to go the wrong direction to begin with. And this is such a huge miss, because with double gas down, Grickrail is probably going to drop a Stargate very early here, so missing out on this scouting information is absolutely huge. Fast Mothership Core as well, and maybe that's something which we see moving across the map aggressively here. He does drop a Nexus, but second gas already down, so lots of income on the gas, and still going to be a fast Stargate follow-up or so as... Oh, Bazio is going to feel a little bit silly in just a few moments when he comes across, pops up to this bottom right side of the map and sees that his opponent isn't here either and realizes it is the upper right spawn, which he just didn't go far enough into to check previously. This Reaper going to come up this right hand side. We're going to see Nexus going to be scouted, but again, I mean, does he go straight and see the Nexus? He will, and you'll see it isn't finished, so he should know that was a bit of extra gas initially rather than just an immediate Nexus here. We're going to see the Adept shading in towards the natural / main right now. Bazio for the win, says Dark as the Void. Dark as the Void, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. As you see this Reaper just backing away, and Adept actually picking up a kill here on the SEV in the middle line. So nice little start here for Grickrail, who is going into this Stargate. Engineering Bay already down for Bazio. He's starting up that turret and getting ready to deal with the potential Stargate. I mean, did he actually just see it? I mean, yeah, he didn't see it, but he saw... Well, actually didn't see anything at all with the Reaper, so... Just playing safely, basically. He saw the later Nexus, obviously, so... He knows there's the potential for a fast Oracle or something right now. As there it is, popping out, and see it heading across the map, I'm sure, in just a few moments. We're going to see a second Oracle as well, so Grickrail really liking this kind of multiple Oracle play early in the game. Is Reaper still alive, actually, still chilling out, as looks as though the Oracle's going to hunt it down. Not so bad, wasted quite a bit of Oracle energy to kill a Reaper, so Reaper should be pretty happy with that. And this Oracle going to be, again, just moving across, looking to see what it can get up to here in the next few moments. Second Oracle as well, going to be joining it, which will be making this a little bit more difficult for Bazio to deal with. He's up on 2 racks. Factory's just finished and starts a tech lab on there immediately. Starport will come in over towards the natural as the 2 Oracles teaming up and getting ready to go in towards this main base right now. Or in a few moments. There's 2, 4, 6, 8 Marines there, which is... I think 8 Marines will kill 1 Oracle still. And as you see this Oracle player coming in, just finds a kill here and backs away, so kind of an expensive in terms of energy kill. Costs 25 energy to start the pulsar beam, but again, just a single SCV and just puts a threat onto the Terran player, who starts to move out with some Marines. Is he going to try and catch these Oracles? Oh, so close actually. He is very close to doing it, and actually even still nearly manages to pick one off. And these couple of Oracles going to turn around and again keep looking to see what's going on. Not really too much more they can do, as we see. Do you see another Oracle coming in? No, it's just Adept coming in right now for our Protoss player. Going into the Robo Bay as well, and we also see this Robo facility producing immortals. Something we saw earlier from Grickrail was on Inferno Pools, actually, when we were catching the Sibet Race Wars. Him against Alive, he went into Colossus play in the TVP, so interesting to see if he does it again here. With that Robo Bay on the way up, I imagine he probably will start dropping the Colossi. And there it is, first Colossus on the way out of this Robo facility. Not your standard way to play PvT anymore, but it's the Grickrail way, apparently. Go Verdi, says Koi Pyrus, but we want the ace match, says Muku. Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one to decide what you really want. As we see this Adept picking up a kill, Revelation drops down, sees a lot of this Terran army Liberator on the way right now from our Terran player as well. I don't think it's to defend, I think it's to go harass with, but we'll see what he does with it. Defensive Liberators are kind of very rarely seen, I suppose, unless you're really, under attack. There's nothing Bazio's really scouted to suggest that he's really under attack. As the tank loads up, he's actually going to maybe just be aggressive in general. He starts to move out a little bit. These Oracles can drop the Revelation again. This is great, again, Verdi just keeping track on what his opponent's doing, where his opponent is. With one Colossus out, this is a Marine heavy army. Tanks are pretty good against Colossus, but I don't know, I just don't like Colossus. Verdi moving towards a third base now, getting ready to drop this down. Now our Terran player has a third CC starting as well, so we're going to start getting into a macro game here on Central Protocol. Now, obviously one of the main things about this map in a macro game is these back rocks could be utilised later on. It could be a bit of a nuisance for our Terran player, especially if Verdi just wants to run by units over there without the use of a War Prism or so. Of course, for Terran it doesn't really matter so much in terms of killing these back rocks, because he's very likely to just be dropping anyways, so the back rocks don't matter as much unless he's going to kill them off and move in with his entire army, which is not impossible. Fast Ghost Academy coming in for Bazio. Ghost Academy is not going to achieve very much here though, I don't think. The Ghost Academy is very good against High Templar play, it's very good against kind of Mass Depth play. Against Colossus, you want to be producing, things that kill Colossi. We actually see a Disruptor coming in and Phoenix starting to come out as well. That first Liberator is still just with the army, not really moving out at all. And Verdi has very good map control to be able to spot this army coming across the map right now. So you can see on the vision here, he sees all of this. And this Marine, this Adept going to start taking a little bit of damage. Just pulling back once again. So again, it's kind of just keeping an eye on this army. The Revelations have been doing a very good job. Oracles are going to come in again in a moment to try and do the same once more. Disruptor now, our first Disruptor of the game, as again we're into a bit of a macro game here. Nice stem forwards here by these Marines to stop these Oracles from getting close enough to drop the Revelation. As you see Bazio loading up a couple of medvacs, they'll start dropping over now to the top side. But Verdi's going to spot these when he drops the Revelation, so he's going to be able to keep an eye on those medvacs. As Phoenix were, for a moment or two there, they're just going to head in the main base. Few Adepts there as well. And again, having the Revelation on this just means he can see this consistently. He knows exactly where these drops are. You can pull back as needed, or you can defend as needed, or you can be as aggressive as required. You can see Watchtower being taken here. Marines unloading from the medevacs. There's a couple Oracles, a couple Phoenix are going to be all together, looking to try and join this army to push forwards. And is he going to try and really push here? He has a Disruptor, he has a couple Colossi, and other than that, just mass Adept. Is it going to work out for him, I guess, is my question. He's down an upgrade as well, +1/+1 finish for Bazio, and no armor upgrade for our Protoss player. This Colossi just going to try and pick away from a distance. Right now, as we see big EMPs, and that's going to be huge, but a big Disruptor shot right in the middle of this army. I don't think Disruptors is what Bazio was really expecting there at all. That was that Disruptor shot just seals the game. That seals the series, I think. I don't think that was anything else in that engagement apart from the Disruptor shot, which really was so one-sided, which made this so one-sided. Like, honestly, that was absolutely crazy. An Immortal here now, another Disruptor. Phoenix coming across. This third base is going to be in trouble. Wow, that Disruptor right in the middle of the army. You literally couldn't have... honestly, if that Disruptor didn't hit, I think Bazio would have crushed this. Now, with enough Vikings up, with a fair amount of bio kind of pre-split against the Colossus fire, we'll see another Disruptor coming in now and kicks off a couple of Vikings. Disruptors, man. They always just seem to be the MVPs, as the Oracle's not even needed anymore. More Adepts coming across the map. The third base has been forced to lift. Some workers picked away at. Adepts going to shade up here and see if it's worth committing into this position. They might just go for it. Is Verdi going to go? I think he is. He's going to commit onto this bunker. The Liberator's got to come into play, but here come these Phoenix to try and help out cleaning them up. We see the Liberator, the Disruptor, not sure where it wants to hit, and actually maybe a little bit of a throw here by Verdi, who overcommits up that ramp and takes a lot of damage in doing so, and doesn't have enough to push on through, as these two Oracles are going to look to see where they can go. Maybe pick off some units spawning out of these barracks or something. And as we see, again, the Liberators, the main MVPs have been two Liberators besieged up here. It took them, the low number of Phoenix, a long time to clean them up. And that's what sort of made the difference. More models on the way out. We're going to see this base forced to lift once again towards the third. And it's going to force Bazio out of his natural. And as I see, he's just going to pull behind once again. couple more SCVs on the way over here. Obviously, we see our Terran player, our Pros player is very committed to this position if he keeps chasing these workers. Just wants to keep trying to deny this as another gate. Verdi does this every single PvT. Just builds a gate. Doesn't care about a wall person. Just builds a gateway in the middle of the map. As we see this third dropping down once more. Again, it's the Liberators that he doesn't really have an answer to right now. As he's going to come in once again and force another lift on this command center. Lifted immediately. Doesn't want it to start burning down, of course. As the Liberator's going to continue to push their position over here. Now, Pros player going to have to reposition himself. As his Adept's going to start shading through, and he's not going to attack. Surely he's not going to attack, into the Liberators once again. Wouldn't mind actually picks off an Oracle, which has been doing a lot of revelating. More Adepts coming in from Verdiers. Well, this isn't over just yet, guys. As they, right now, though, we see a big reposition on the Liberators. They're going to siege up. There's going to be so much firepower from these Liberators that Verdiers going to take so much damage, but does it matter? Phoenix in higher numbers now, cleaning out these Liberators a bit faster, but it's still not fast enough. So many Immortals, so many Adepts going down at these. But now the Liberators have fallen. I think just further waves of aggression would be enough anyways. And it looks as though there's still just a little bit too much for Grickrill here as he pushes on through this army. This third base will be broken, and Basio's just going to have to type out GG. The All-Kill is going to come in from Grickrill, and True Esports will show why. They just have so much depth in their roster. You know, they lose Guru, he's one of their stronger players. They lose Bistakiri, who's one of their stronger players. And yet they still are completely fine because they have someone like Grickrill who can just come out and just clean up an all-kill. They still have Elias to use as well, and that's why True Esports are going to be a truly terrifying team in this season of the Team League. Grickrill takes the all-kill, 4-2, the final score here between Nuit Blanche and True Esports.